right, everybody. I'm just setting up the live on TikTok as well. Okay, it looks like we're live here too. Awesome, awesome. So today I'm going to kind of walk you guys through a pretty simple, in my mind, a simple tutorial of a bird's eye view of a beach. If you don't know what that is, it's basically if you were a bird and you were looking down, what would you see? So for some of us, we might have to suspend our patterns of disbelief. Other people can look up a picture, but I will grab what I need here. I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. I am going to be using a lot of colors, and you guys will see why here in just a moment. But my primary reason for using a lot of colors is because I want my beach scene to have a lot of umbrellas. I think having a lot of umbrellas is a lot of fun. So we're going to start here. This is a canvas board. And basically just what that is a board that has canvas on it. I think these are really easy to work with. They're easy to store in general. So let me see if this will. Kind of work on this here. Might be a little bit blurry. Hello, James. Hello. Hi, Diego. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Okay, so before we get into colors, let's start with the brushes that we're going to use. We are going to use this 3/4 flat brush. It's a simple brush. I get this in a pack of like a $2 pack, and it's great, and we're going to use it for this painting, and we're going to use it for the majority of this painting. Second brush is this bad boy right here. This is what we would call a number 3 round. Diego, how are you? I'm good, how are you? Thank you for the follow. That's awesome. We're gonna use this number 3 round. We're gonna use this for like the white of the foam of the ocean, for umbrellas, for a couple other things. Last but not least, oops, we're gonna use a small brush. This is the detail brush that we're gonna use for the people, the shadows. If we want to throw in a palm tree, we can throw in a palm tree, and we're going to use it with this. What are you going to paint? I am going to be painting a bird's eye view of a beach. And hopefully you guys want to paint along with me. If you don't, that's totally fine. So now that we got the brushes out of the way, a clean bowl of water, super important. Well, not as important for this project per se, but because most of this is going to be blues. We're not doing a lot of mixing, if you will. Okay, now the complicated part. Complicated. Yes, James, you're correct, of the beach. So I'm going to have a brilliant blue. Obviously, this is a beach, so the water is blue unless you live in like Ohio, which I don't think the water is as blue there. Just kidding, I live in Ohio. All right, and then we are also going to be using white. I use a titanium white. I actually use this titanium white because I go through a lot of it. So we're going to be using that one today. And these two are going to take up almost this whole page, about 3/4 of this canvas. Then for the sand, we're going to be using two different colors. We're going to be using a yellow ochre deep and a burnt umber. And we're going to mix these colors with a little bit of white. So keep those on hand. And of course, whatever colors you guys want to paint your people, your umbrellas, your greenery, whatever it is, you can have all of those colors here. And these are going to be the ones I'm using today. Just so you have, I'm not going to go through all of them, but you get the gist that there's a lot of colors, I hope. So we have greens, reds, yellows, purples. We want to get all the colors. Oh, and a vermilion. What up? Goodbye. Sorry I couldn't stay for long. We go to bed now. Goodbye, James. All right. So let's start with the body of the piece. So I'm going to take what looks like a dirty mixing palette, and I'm going to start with my darkest color, which for me is going to be here. I'm going from the darkest part of the water to the coastline and then the sand. So I'm going to start with the dark blue over this way, and I'm going to go ahead and mix that. And if you guys wanted to know, I'm live on both TikTok and Instagram with this today. Or I'm sorry, TikTok and YouTube. Wow, YouTube, I'm sorry. Woo. So here's what I'm going to do, just to kind of explain it to you guys. My palette, I like to have it separate like this, and then I use this as kind of like a mixing center. I'm doing a darker blue and then a lighter blue. I'm going to add some white to this blue, but I'm keeping these two separate. And then for my lightest blue, which is going to be the closest to the water, I'm going to take the light blue and add it to this white here. So I'm going to take a little bit of water on my brush. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to kind of wake my brush up a little bit. She hasn't been doing much lately. I'm just going to add a little bit more water. I want it to be a little bit more viscous than maybe what the paint comes out of the tube in. And I'm just going to go ahead and lay it in. This is not any sort of a technical skill here. Just go ahead and do what you feel is right. However, you know, blue you want this water. If you want it more blue, you can go ahead and add like another sort of color to it. You can add a little bit of a dark green. Oh, you can hear my neighbors outside. And I'm just gonna kind of bring it down. So then I'm gonna activate and get this guy warmed up, this middle kind of blue here. Put a little bit of water, and it's okay that we use some of that dark blue in here because realistically at the end of the day it's all gonna be blended. It's all gonna be fine. And we're gonna start by laying it in and kind of blending it up. And again, there's nothing special about this, right? You kind of go with how you feel the water should go. And then last but not least, I'm going to take the white that I had, mix it with a little bit of that blue. And you see I got this light blue, and I'm going to lay that in. And then I'm going to pull it this way. Now we don't really want a straight edge for this coastline, so just kind of have fun with it. You know, give yourself kind of a creative edge, and you'll kind of see in a minute here that we're going to add some more stuff to that. So it's not going to be this plain coastline, but if you kind of want to outline that different sort of an edge, absolutely go ahead and do that now. And we're going to just keep blending and pushing the colors back and forth, kind of allowing ourselves to kind of feel the direction that we want this to go. Go with the flow. Only dead fish go with the flow. Joking. Anyway, so I'm going to go back and add a little bit more of this dark blue. And if you guys can see, I actually have not cleaned my brush once so far. Oh yeah, look at that nice dark blue. Oh, how beautiful is that? I can only imagine what a bird sees above us. Oh, how pretty. Anyway. So I'm just kind of bringing that dark blue in again and bringing it back down, adding it in. We want to give it a little bit of depth, you know? A little bit of depth goes a long way. And don't be shy. Don't be shy when it comes to putting paint on. Let me see, I got some dark and light in there. That's fine. That's a-okay. It gives it a nice, again, variation, depth, dark, and the light. You know, the nice thing about the water is like it's never just one color. So you can kind of bring that light out a little bit more, just like that. All right, hopefully you guys are seeing some of that and kind of feeling it. So, oh, thank you for the follow, my friend. Hello. So, we're finally gonna take our brush, give it a quick rinse, just like that. And we're gonna just kind of let this blue kind of sit and dry for a little bit because I wanna wait before I put in the kind of sea foamy effect here. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the wet sand, which is going to be a bit different. So I told you guys I'm gonna be doing this yellow ochre and the burnt sienna. So I'm gonna mix those on my palette now. And for the darker part of the sand, I want it to be darker, so I'm not gonna use as much white when I'm mixing it in. So here we are, this one too. Oops. So your palette, I'm gonna add a little bit of white into this one. So you should be looking at something that has, you know, 3 colors, a white, an ochre, and the burnt. And I'm gonna go ahead and mix that. And for me, I'm kind of noticing, you know, this is too brown. Have no fear, you guys. Have no fear. Oops, that does not look that cute. Well, it's always, you always learn, you know, you live and you learn. I'm adding some more of this yellow ochre deep to give me more of the wet sand look, to get that nice dark sand that I want. And we're only gonna put a small strip of that right about here. So you get something a little bit more like this. And just lay that in around your predetermined or not predetermined line of your water. And also give this one a little bit of variety as well. So for me, I'm gonna kind of bring it out like I did the original lines and kind of end a little bit bigger than I did before. So you can kind of see that. I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing the rest of the sand color, which is the same but just with more white, because we wanted to kind of create that illusion of the wet sand of the shoreline versus where everyone else is sitting, or where the plants are, or whatever you want to do for your main body of this. So this is pretty easy. Same thing, more white. And we're gonna put this at the very edge and then bring it in. And kind of fade that line a little. Don't bring it in too much. We don't want to get it too blurred in with our other colors. And if you guys want a link in the description, I can post it after this live of where I got the paints, the brushes, and everything else. The canvases come in like a 5-pack and they're pretty cheap and they're pretty good, and I kind of like working on them now that I do a lot of cool stuff. Okay, so we have the water, we have the beach, and we have this kind of wet sand line. Okay, so good. Hopefully everyone's catching up to me. If I'm going too fast, scream. Okay. Now that I put the yellow, this is color theory, you guys. Now that I put the yellow next to the blue, these guys are primary colors. I'm noticing that, you know what? I want this blue to be a little lighter. So I'm going to go ahead back in to my light blue and add a little bit more white. And I only want a little bit more. I don't need a lot. And I'm just going to go ahead and lay that in. Give myself a little bit more variety here. Oh, that's pretty light, isn't it, huh? That's okay though. Now we're just gonna push that right back into the shoreline there. And it's okay if you get a little bit of that shoreline paint on there. Okay. All right, so far so good. So I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna tell you guys how we're gonna do the shadows. So we're actually gonna give this big brush a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather. And we're gonna go to this smaller brush. I'm gonna tell you why. So here we have the option to add trees, plants, umbrellas, people, we can actually add it anywhere in the painting, but for me, I really wanna add a couple umbrellas, a palm tree, and a person somewhere. So in order to do that, we need to have an idea of where the light is coming from. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and say the light is gonna be coming from this corner here, this lower left-hand corner, and coming down towards this way. So when we're thinking of light coming this way, we're gonna think about shadows. And shadows, I know they sound scary, are actually not all that hard. I think people like to give them a big hype. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of this color of this sand. I'm gonna set it over here because I'm going to mix it with a tiny bit of our dark blue. And you're probably wondering why dark blue and not like black. It's because most shadows aren't black. They usually kind of have colors that are reflected around them. So this is going to be the color of my shadow. And just for good measure, because I want it to have just a touch bit more depth, I'm gonna add a tiny, and I mean the tiniest amount of brilliant red into there. There we go. Okay. So for again, the idea of the shadow, light from here over to here. For the umbrellas, I'm gonna predetermine their spot by doing a little crescent shape, so like a little shape of a moon, where I want them to be at their shadow. So I'll show you guys here what I'm kind of talking about. Just like that. So then that's going to denote where I'm going to have an umbrella. And let's say I'm going to do one down. Oh, let's actually do it up here. They like the water. Great. And none of these have to be perfect. They don't all have to be the same size. Don't worry. I'm gonna also have maybe two people walking on the beach. So let's put them here. And I'm just gonna go like this. A little line, two little lines. And I'm gonna put them there and there. And also for this, let's just do a little bit of a palm tree. This is going to be the palm tree shadow. So I'm kind of letting it fade out from the base. Good. Okay. And let me add someone tanning. Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna have two umbrellas. I'm gonna have someone tanning. I'm gonna have a palm tree and two people walking on the beach. Awesome. Anyone have any questions so far? No questions. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool. All right. So let's jump right back into the white kind of sea foam that's gonna come at the edge here. I'm gonna go back to my bigger brush, my bigger brush. We're We're gonna use a little bit of that white again. And this, I kind of want it to be a little bit more dry for this, because I want it to kind of give a little bit, I want to use the kind of crackly part of my brush, you know, when it has been dried, when it's not wet, and kind of stipple it in. Stippling is basically like stick and poke. So I want to do that along this shoreline and go back into my white as I need. And just kind of rotate my brush, give it kind of an organic little feel. And if you're a beginner and this is a kind of a scary idea for you, you can go ahead and use a sponge. If you cut up a sponge, it has kind of a nice natural effect like that. And if you're more advanced, you can use something like a fan brush, or you can draw it in a little bit more technically. There. And some of them I'm gonna have them be bigger. Some of them just gonna have them hug this a little. Awesome. So this is the first layer that we're doing along the shoreline. And I'm liking how she's turning out. I'm, you know, vibing with her kind of aesthetic, but, you know, I really want to see a little bit more because, you know, those waves sometimes have those really beautiful white caps. And I really want to take a look at those as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put one in here. It doesn't have to be a full one. I'm going to put one in over here too and kind of see how I'm feeling there. Maybe I'll add one up here. Oops. Kind of zigzag it in a little. And then I'm going to go like this a little. Look like it's receding back. Whoops. And I got a little bit of that in there, but that's okay. We'll just stipple it back in. There. Perfect. Add a couple more waves. Couple more white cap things. Get creative. Okay, so we'll leave it at that for right now. Again, just kind of getting the illusion of a beach. So now I'm gonna go ahead, rinse this out, and this is going to be the last time I use this brush here. And you're absolutely welcome to add more white. I'm just not going to right now, just because I don't want to. So I'm going to add the two people walking on the beach, and I'm going to do their overhead. So really, I'm just going to kind of allude to their presence, which is basically I'm going to do an oval in their skin tone and a circle for their hair color. So for their skin, you'll see this oval here. I've mixed up a color for their skin. And this is them. They're just going to be walking along. And then, let me do the other person. I'm actually going to use my dry sand color for this other person, because I think that's fine. And then I'm going to give the first person a circle for their head. And then again, this is just the top of their head. There's no need to do a face. If you're like me and you hate to do faces, actually I don't hate faces, but I do hate painting hands. My gosh. This is a great alternative for you. And maybe they're hugging, maybe one's about to throw the other one in the water. We don't know. We just work here. There. Oops. There we go. Great. Now We have 2 people in. Sweet. You guys see those people? They look happy. They look like they're living their best life. Nothing crazy, right? So, we're gonna go in and pick a color for the, let's try the blanket, because we have to add a person to that and we might as well let it dry. So maybe I'll do, do a red. No, I'm gonna use a red for umbrella. I'm gonna go ahead and make it a white towel. And again, we're just gonna paint this little rectangle in. Nothing crazy. This person's obviously just like Jay chillin' here. Jay chillin' hall. Okay, there you go. That's the blanket. We'll put a person on there. Maybe we'll give her a little bikini or something. I don't know. So I'm going to show you guys an easy way to do an umbrella. There are harder ways to do this. I'm just doing a circle and filling it in. So I'm going to do a red and white umbrella here. And I'm just going to make this circle like we did before, just on this top side of our crescent. Our croissant. And I'm just painting it in white. And we're going to add some red detail in just a minute. I'm going to let it dry. And again, we're also working in acrylic paint, so this dries pretty fast. If you're working in oil, you're bold. Because I don't usually recommend oils for people who are just starting out, but do what makes you happy. That's what life is all about. Then should we do a blue and white umbrella? I think that would be kind of nice. Let's do blue and white. So here we're gonna add this circle in again. Maybe it's a Tommy Bahama umbrella. I don't know. You live your life, I live my life. It's fine. And again, these don't have to be perfect. I'm doing this on my side with like little to like no gauge for how it looks like on the front. I'm just filling a little bit more of that in. Okay, so while we let our umbrellas and our towel dry, let's just go ahead and throw in the palm tree. So I'm going to do a quick line, a tapered line like that, with the dark brown that I used for that lovely individual skin tone. I'm going to do a quick little light highlight there. And then I'm going to go ahead and crack out my phthalo green, not to be confused with CeeLo green. And I'm going to add a little bit of this to a little bit of dark blue. And just a touch of white. So I get this kind of dark color. And I'm just going to go ahead and kind of create this aerial look of a palm tree. And while it's still a little bit wet, I'm going to take my lighter green, what's called sap green in this pack. I'm going to take that, put a little bit of white in it, and that is going to be the highlight to our palm trees. Do not be using this like from the tube like I am. We need a little bit more green there, don't we? Yeah, there we go. Good, now we have this beautiful green. Again, just set it in, kind of streak it in like the light would be hitting a palm tree. Just little dashes, just little things there. Good, now you have like kind of the idea of a palm tree. What kind of paintbrushes do you recommend? Honestly, I recommend synthetic paintbrushes. Synthetic paintbrushes are awesome. You can use them for just about anything. I know everyone wants to buy the specialty brushes, but I get a pack of like 20 of these for $5, and they're awesome. And I really can't complain. Okay, so let us put in our lady, our sun tanning lady. because I think it'd be funny to do a little bikini. And don't be nervous. You don't have to paint hands. You don't have to paint anything. All we're going to do is paint an equal sign, a body, connect it to 2 arms, and a head. Whoa. And just because I feel like it, I'm just going to add a tiny, tiny, tiny little shadow. That's it. Not big. Just very little to kind of outline her. Or him. You can do whoever you want on this. I'm just doing a her. Or someone who likes to wear a bikini, rather. Okay. There. And for the sake of this, they're going to have black hair. We're just going to have it trail off there. And we're also going to put some sunglasses on her. Let's put some sunglasses. She looks like an alien, but it's fine. She's happy. She's living a good life. And let's do a purple bikini. So two triangles for the top and 1 triangle for the bottom should be just enough to insinuate that you have clothings on. So, see here we have a triangle. Triangle and triangle. Easy, just like that, folks. And she's got clothes. This is no longer a nudist beach. Give it a praise. I'm gonna add a little bit more to this because I feel like I kind of left him hanging on some parts. He's like, why didn't you? Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Oh, everyone's popular here in this house today. Okay. Okay, last but not least, and I won't keep you guys for too much longer, we're gonna finish up here with this and this. The red and white umbrella and the blue and white umbrella. We're gonna do them 2 different ways. That's a beautiful drawing. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Flamingo. Okay, so for the red one, I'm gonna just do little circles inside of it. I think it's a really easy way to make it look like there is an umbrella. So I'm gonna give it a red outline. Just like this. Oops, touched the paint there. You notice it's not quite dry yet, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly dry. For the people that are watching this, usually you guys are just learning and it gets overwhelming because it's, you know, it's scary. It moves, it does stuff you don't want it to do. It's hard to fix, but that's okay. I'm going to do another circle right up here. Again, I'm just kind of laying this color in. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's about the feeling of it. That's about where I'm going to leave that one. The last one, remember that bigger round brush I told you guys about earlier? That's what I'm going to use for this. So I'm going to take my blue. So I'll just use the blue I have. Because why waste paint? I'm going to take this blue. I'm going to kind of point and get it kind of to the point of the end of this brush. And I'm just going to lay it in and twist. lay it in, get it nice there, and twist it up towards that middle there. And if you kind of can see, I'm trying to make it look like a triangle, but this is just a nice and fun technique to get to this end result, maybe a little faster. I'm gonna do another one. Here, I'm gonna get this to the end because I need more at the end. Here and up. Great. Oops, I got a little over there, so what I'm gonna do, put the lights on is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take a brush, a clean brush, and just kind of go around it. Easy. Easy peasy. Then that kind of tidies that up a little bit, and I can go in and I can fix things as I want. I can add things as I want. So because this tutorial is technically over, this will be the more or less the finished piece. Oops. Easy enough. And also I'm kind of weird. I like to touch things up literally all the time. I actually saw one of my paintings the other day at someone's house, and all I wanted to do was take a paintbrush to it. That's what I have. So hopefully you guys enjoyed kind of this easier tutorial on how to do just a simple bird's eye view, nothing crazy, painting, and maybe can utilize some of these techniques and some of the other pieces you want to do. It can be really therapeutic, especially if you do this a couple times and you get better at it and discover that, you know, certain techniques work better for you and certain techniques don't. I find that, you know, the kind of painting hacks are awesome, but if you really want to improve, I think taking the time to learn a technique that you think you're going to utilize can be a really, really, really valuable asset. And I'm just going to go ahead and add just a couple more people because I want to. And maybe some more plants. There. So for the plants, I'm going to spice it up a little bit. I'm going to start with the sap this time. Whoop. There goes the top to that. Nice. Give it a little more interdimensionality. I know that's probably not the word to use, but I just wanted to use it because you're only young once. Let that dry for a minute. And let's add another person in here. This person's gonna stare this way. They're looking out that direction. And this person, maybe this person's looking over here. Maybe they're walking to their bud. I don't know. And then this person, maybe this person on the beach is staring out and having a life crisis. If anyone can relate, girl, same. Yeah, she's staring out at the water. She's got things to think about. I'm gonna throw in another half of an umbrella. You can kind of see in this corner. maybe, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and add a beach ball too, probably. So we're gonna make this person has long, beautiful, flowing locks. I feel like Goldilocks would have a life crisis. This person is going to have maybe brown hair. Let's give her some brown hair. Let's give him, you know what? Because we don't judge here. Let me give him a little bit of brown hair. Yeah, excellent. I'm gonna take this smaller one and you can obviously put people in shirts. You can do just about whatever. But yeah, so we've added more people. We've added more umbrellas. We've added more greenery. I'm going to add some light to this greenery and paint this yellow because this seems like a good use of yellow. Easy. Wow, what a time to be alive. Sounded like Kermit the Frog a little there. Sorry, guys. Beautiful. I'm just going to lay that also into here a little. Give it a little bit more of a highlight. Perfect. All right. And I'll leave it be because if I don't, I will keep painting on it. But hopefully you guys liked this just about 35-minute, 40-minute tutorial on how to do a quick, easy bird's eye view of a beach scene. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in my comments on YouTube or on Instagram. I can walk you guys through basically just about how to paint anything from beginning to advanced. This was a beginner tutorial, so if you guys like it, awesome. I can do more. If you guys want something more advanced, we can do something a little bit more advanced. If you want me to try and draw, I don't know, a foot, or if we want to try sculpting, whatever you guys want to try, let's give it a shot and see what happens. Feel free to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I have the same name for literally everything. It's just Anna 10 Pencil. I also will drop the link to this material on Amazon. All this material in general, like the multi-pack of the canvas boards, the paint, everything, it will probably be an initial investment of about $50, but you'll get, 15, 10 paintings out of it. So well worth it if you guys are willing and able to try or want to try something new. Otherwise, I hopefully will see you guys next week. I know that the holidays are fast approaching, so maybe one of these will be a great gift for one of your loved ones, your friends, your coworkers, your colleagues, your enemies, I don't know, you name it. I just work here. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you have a great rest of your